Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So we rushed outside because we saw sun.
Yeah.
And as soon as we came out, by the time we set up, sun. Still kind of there, but hiding behind
It's
the
cold
clouds.
now.
It is, exactly. So anyway, we're here to read the Srimad Bhagavatam and relish the nectar. So where are we reading from?
Canto 4, Chapter 2, Text 9.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Text 9. All sages, brahmanas and fire gods present, please hear me with attention, for I speak about the manners of gentle persons. I do not speak out of ignorance or envy. This is Daksha speaking. Purport. In speaking against Lord Shiva, Daksha tried to pacify the assembly by presenting in a very tactful way that he was going to speak about the manners of gentle persons. Although naturally this might affect some unmannerly upstarts, and the assembly might be unhappy because they did not want even unmannerly persons to be offended. In other words, he was in complete knowledge that he was speaking about Lord Shiva. Speaking against Lord Shiva, in spite of Shiva's spotless character. As far as envy is concerned, from the very beginning he was envious of Lord Shiva. Therefore, he could not distinguish his own particular envy. Although he spoke like a man in ignorance, he wanted to cover his statements by saying that he was not speaking for impudent and envious reasons. Yeah, it's interesting. It's a bit like when someone says, look, don't get offended by this, but... And you're like, yeah, okay. Or someone says, I don't mean any offence,
but...
You're like, I'm not racist,
but...
You know, I've got brown friends.
Got a brown wife.
And my next door neighbour's African, so I'm not racist. My Prime Minister's my Prime Minister's Indian. I didn't vote for him, but I'm not racist.
Okay, that's on the race thing.
I'm making a point.
That's not the point. Yeah, there's a different point.
All right, okay, I got a tangent.
So what is the point, my lovely wife?
The point is he was going to... Oh look, there's a little robin redbreast, and it comes in this garden all the time. I just wanted to say that.
So easily distracted, this lady.
No, it's cute. Anyway, yeah, the point is he did want to offend. That's the point. You don't speak up in... You know, the point is Lord Shiva's sitting there in the assembly, and he's making he's speaking to Lord Shiva, but he's trying to make it out indirectly. I'm speaking to everyone.
Yeah, I'm speaking in general, and you know, I mean no ignorance or envy, no impudence.
I mean no harm.
I mean no harm, but, and that's the magic word, but. They say that if you make a sentence and then you say but, that negates everything that you said before. So be careful, you know. Yeah, it's very instructive, I think, that how easy it is for pride to eclipse humility, and that we then speak in such a way that that people get hurt, you know, upset, harmed, offended. And we see here that the devotees, you know, they didn't want anyone to be offended, whether they were unmannerly or not, because he mentioned, you know, I speak about the manners of gentle persons. So that means non-gentle persons are unmannerly, and you know, they didn't want anyone to be upset. They weren't there for that purpose, you know. But he chose to use his position, his status, and that opportunity of the assembly where Lord Shiva had apparently disrespected him, to open up and start talking derogatorily about Lord Shiva. So anyway, should we see what happens?
Yes, please.
Text 10. Shiva, so I'm not speaking about anyone in particular, but here we go. Shiva has spoiled the name and fame of the governors of the universe and has polluted the path of gentle manners because he is shameless and he does not know how to act. Well, yeah, that's really direct. Purport. Daksha wanted to impress upon the minds of all the great sages assembled in that meeting that Shiva, being one of the demigods, had ruined the good reputations of all the demigods by his unmannerly behavior. The words used against Lord Shiva by Daksha can also be understood in a different way, in a good sense. And so the Acharyas often do this. They'll say that the Sanskrit can be understood like this, but from the opposite way you can also understand like this. For example, he stated that Shiva is Yashogya, which means one who spoils name and fame. So this can also be interpreted to mean that he was so famous that his fame killed all other fame. Again, Daksha used the word Nirapatrapa, which also can be used in two senses. One sense is one who is stunned. Stunted. Thank you. One who is stunted. And another sense is one who is the maintainer of persons who have no other shelter. Generally, Lord Shiva is also known as Lord of the Bhutas, Bhutanath. We spoke about that previously. Or lower grade of living creatures. They take shelter of Lord Shiva because he is very kind to everyone and is very quickly satisfied. Therefore, he is called Ashutosh. To such men who cannot approach other demigods or Vishnu, Lord Shiva gives shelter. Therefore, the word Nirapatrapa can be used in that sense. So there you go. I think for me the main point is that from the purport anyway, that we can understand that whatever we were just talking about this, I think, in the Bhakti Shastri class yesterday, how someone can speak one thing and theoretically mean something, but it can be understood in a different way. You know, like you might say something and someone might, no, you were saying that sarcastically and actually poking fun. And it's like, no, I was giving a compliment. You know, so in that way we know the world of communication is permeated by misunderstanding. And then you add things in like WhatsApp and messages and emails and all these things where it's just typed letters and you don't get the real communication. They say, what is it, that 80% or something like that of what we understand in communication is non-verbal. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. My goodness, now it's like, actually I feel like I need to put some hat on my head or something. Okay. Let's go, next verse.
Text 11. He has already accepted himself as my subordinate by marrying my daughter in the presence of fire and brahmanas. He has married my daughter who is equal to Gayatri and has pretended to be just like an honest person. Purport. Daksha's statement that Lord Shiva pretended to be an honest person means that Shiva was dishonest, because in spite of accepting the position of Daksha's son-in-law, he was not respectful to Daksha. It's interesting that he's saying he's subordinate to me by marrying my daughter. So basically it comes down, as we'll see, Daksha feels you should have stood up. You're disrespecting me. I mean, he obviously has issues anyway. It's a classic, really. No father really feels that the son-in-law is good enough for their daughter, really. There'll always be some issue. And if you think of it from a Freudian point of view, it actually goes back to because husband takes the role of the protector and the shelter that the father formerly gave, and now there's another man, as it were, in the daughter's life. So it does go back to those sort of principles as well.
What's that got to do with Freud? He was all about mommy issues, wasn't he?
Not all, no.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
You studied Freud?
Yeah, psychology degree. Just want to get that in there.
I mean, another thing about this is that actually Daksha is now rationalizing, justifying his rudeness. You know, he's basically saying, he took a subordinate position, therefore he should treat me, on a higher level. I mean, just saying that, and I know I've found myself saying unfortunate things like that probably at times. And so, it's just so puffed up. It's like, am I the dasa no dasa no das, or am I the Prabhu on a Prabhu on a Prabhu? Am I the master of masters of masters? So he's just justifying, his bad mentality, his pride, basically. Text 12. Now, as if what he said already wasn't bad enough, now listen to this. He has eyes like a monkey's. I guess he means a monkey's eyes. He might mean a monkey's something else. Yet he has married my daughter, whose eyes are just like those of a deer cub. Nevertheless, he did not stand up to receive me, nor did he think it fit to welcome me with sweet words. Text 13. So, he's just basically blaspheming him in front of everyone. It's like also one thing to do something like this behind closed doors, like you say it kind of to someone's face behind closed doors, like, you got eyes like a monkey, my daughter's so beautiful, you should have stood up, like behind closed doors. Now he's saying it in an entire assembly of great personalities. It's a wrongin', as they say in England. 13 text. I had no desire to give my daughter to this person who has broken all rules of civility. Because of not observing the required rules and regulations, he is impure. But I was obliged to hand over my daughter to him, just as one teaches the messages of the Vedas to a Shudra. So, interesting point. So first, he gives some insult, and then he's actually citing Shastra to try to make a point, And we do that sometimes. We justify our bad mentality by something we saw in the Shastra. Purport. A Shudra is forbidden to take lessons from the Vedas because a Shudra, due to his unclean habits, is not worthy to hear such instructions. This restriction that unless one has acquired the Brahminical qualifications, one should not read the Vedic literature is like the restriction that a law student should not enter a law college unless he has been graduated from all lower grades. According to the estimation of Daksha, Shiva was unclean in habits and not worthy to have the hand of his daughter. Sati, who was his daughter Sati, who was so enlightened, beautiful, and chaste. The word used in this connection is Bina Setave, which refers to one who has broken all the regulations for good behavior by not following the Vedic principles. In other words, according to Daksha, the entire transaction of the marriage to his daughter with Shiva was not in order. So, he's not happy. And actually, this is the effect, right? It starts with a little thing, and we may think that this whole incident is because Lord Shiva didn't stand up. But actually, that is just the proverbial straw that broke the camel's back. That's just the fire that, the match that lit the immense fire. Is, the volcano is now erupting, and all the nasty stuff that's underneath is coming out. Because basically he hasn't been happy with Lord Shiva since they were married. He probably wasn't happy with him before that. And later he'll actually more or less implicate and offend Lord Brahma as well, because he says, I had to do this because Lord Brahma forced me to give my daughter's hand in marriage to this, you know, personality. So, you know, all this stuff is coming out, and that's what happens in life, right? That we press down, press down, press down. We keep suppressing this, until one day someone says something and boom, everything just flies out, and you think, God, I just asked you to pass me the salt or something, you know, and then someone flies off the handle. So anyway, there's a few thoughts.
Text. Next one.
Yeah. I
think we'll call it a day because it is cold and
I'm getting chilly.
He's susceptible.
Yeah. So thank you very much. This is such a great pastime. So we'll pick up again next time. So please continue to join in.
Apologies for the sound last time. Our wind was horrendous, and we're very sorry.
We're very, very sorry. So we'll try to be mindful of that. Of course, wherever you go outside, especially there's noise. Today it was airplanes flying over, so like that. Hare Krishna, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai.